mom and pop polypectomies where we're just taking piecemeal, using the tools we have and just taking it out piece by piece. If we treat it more like a surgical resection, and then send the patient, refer it to tertiary centers or to physicians like myself who actually deal with these types of polyps, we can remove it the correct way, which is trying to get it on block and get good margins with a minimal rate of recurrence compared to the standard techniques.
Right, got it. And could you basically help me to understand and teach me where this set of devices, such as Harmonic Scalpel by Johnson & Johnson, that Chroma RS2 by Chromatical, Covidian Electrosurgery System, Olympus System, where are they used? Are they used in this 10% of bucket where you have advanced lesion which should be completely removed, or just forgive my complete ignorance, is it that 90% of cases where a polyp can be removed during colonoscopy?
It's more so in the 10% cases. So these devices are more surgical devices, and it's becoming more and more popular in the endoscopic field because the newer, versions of them are smaller. They can be fit through a gastroscope or a colonoscope. So because they fit through that channel that goes to the endoscope, they're more available for us to use during the endoscopic procedures. Most of the things like Medtronic's device, for example, they were initially, the energy devices were initially created for surgeons. So, like, for example, if a colorectal surgeon needed to remove hemorrhoids, use Medtronic's device, and they have larger, like a ligature, but basically the same concept with bipolar energy that uses some sound tech waves also for coagulating. The Medtronics, for example, we're more familiar with from the surgical standpoint for lesions that that have a high vasculature supply, and they're more done in surgery. I think they are coming up with versions that can go through the endoscope, through a colonoscope, for example. So when they do, I'm sure we'll see them more. We'll probably be the first to try them. The one that we're more familiar with is Johnson & Johnson. So Johnson & Johnson, they've had this, I think they were one of the first people to bring this in, and it was called the Harmonic device, which is small and it's used in surgery, but it's also, they have different versions of it, like a hook versus a blade that you can put through the endoscope and use it for the submucosal dissection. The other company you mentioned, besides Chroma, Chroma is similar to Johnson & Johnson's product in that sense. Chroma's device is I think you probably know about the speedboat, right? I mean, that's exactly what we're talking about. The speedboat device is it's relatively new. I know it's not really openly used in the U.S. It's only on a trial basis because it was marketed in England, I believe, and it's probably more utilized in England than in the United States. However, I think it's very promising because it uses a different type of way to control the bleeding. It's got the blade, it's got a needle in it, it's got multiple things inside the one system that we could essentially hasten the process of the dissection by injecting and cutting and coagulating vessels, all with one device or one channel. So it's nice in that sense. It may help facilitate the process, make it faster. I know that the other companies will be also making similar devices and marketing it, but I think ultimately it'll come down to the physician's preference and also the cost, from the hospital standpoint. My experience is that's why we actually are affiliated with both the academic and the community setting, because with the way reimbursements are in the United States for endoscopic procedures, you have to kind of have an academic affiliation to justify the cost. So you're saying you're teaching fellows or teaching some other physicians to do the procedure, so part of it is incorporating the teaching. So that's how you can justify to the hospital budget. But otherwise, the devices alone, if they're expensive, we're not getting the reimbursement. We're basically not even breaking even from the standpoint of the reimbursement, because you're better off just doing a regular standard colonoscopy